Thank you, Peg. This has been such a wonderful series. I think I was here on the first night, and it's just a feat of creativity and, I don't know, passion for literature. So thank you. I don't know where Peg is. All right, the story, this is, I really have really enjoyed this magazine, World Literature Today. They also, on the cover is Dubravka Gresic, who's a Croatian writer, a wonderful Croatian writer. And anyway, it's just a wonderful magazine. All right, the story, all right, it's set in the United States. It's not world literature, whatever that is. It's called Infestation. Lying in bed on Saturday night, her eyes closed in the imperfect darkness of the room, her limbs cooling from the day's chores, Marcy felt a crawling sensation on her right arm, the one outside the blanket. Something crept from her shoulder down to her wrist and then jumped onto her belly. Marcy was lying on her side, hugging the body pillow in a way that felt comfortable in the 32nd week of pregnancy. The squash-sized creature inside her belly was still asleep, but the longer she stayed horizontal, the sooner it would be waking up. Marcy needed to get her sleep as efficiently as possible. The sheet covering her belly moved. Then came a soft thump on the side of the bed and a fluttering against the wooden floorboards. Marcy opened her eyes and sat up. The light from the neighbor's bedroom that came in through the shoddy blinds was insufficient to see more than the outlines of her bed and dresser. A mouse. What else? A fucking mouse. Derek, Marcy called to her husband in a tinny voice. Going to bed, she'd left him working on the computer in front of the TV in the downstairs living room. Marcy was trapped. She couldn't speak any louder. Her 3-year-old daughter, asleep in the room next door, had the monitor she could use to call down to Daddy. Marcy was on her own. The living room might as well have been millions of miles away. She thought of her daughter, got out of bed, and turned on the light. The mouse was long gone. Marcy thought of all the crumbs that accumulated beside her daughter's bed from all the middle-of-the-night snacks she extracted from her father. How could Marcy tell whether the mouse had been in her daughter's bedroom without waking the girl up? Bringing the girl to her own bed, as Marcy had done in the times of illness and night terrors, would provide little protection from the mice. The girl was liable to kick Marcy in the stomach. Downstairs, all the lights were on. The carpet looked like it survived a flood and then a tornado. The furniture that Derek and Marcy had gotten from a garage sale actually belonged in the dumpster. No matter how much Marcy and Derek worked, they didn't seem to be able to get ahead. Derek didn't move his head from his screens as Marcy walked past the living room to the kitchen. Sure enough, there were fresh droppings all over the pantry, to the side of the fridge, on the counter with the cereal boxes. Mice thrived on crumbs that the 3-year-old left behind. Marcy filled the bucket with soapy water and washed the floor. She then examined the seals on all the bags and boxes. She worked quickly and allowed no room for gray areas. No matter how much she hated throwing away food, if a seal had been broken, the bag went into the trash. She couldn't stay up till dawn sifting rice. Derek turned off the TV and came into the kitchen, stretching and rubbing his eyes. What's up? He started seeing Marcy seated, cross-legged on the kitchen floor, the pantry items piled around her. "What's happening? Can I help?" The almost baby stirred in her stomach. 32 weeks, Marcy had been told, was a key milestone. If she gave birth today, the baby would be small, but in every other way, fine. 3 years later, she would sleep in her own room and call to Daddy when she wanted a glass of milk. Marcy stood up, crossed the living room, and opened the front door. The night hit her with a layer of fog, tiny droplets softening her cheeks, enveloping her shoulders. The day had been warm, but the knowledge of the cold to come made Marcy shudder. The mice must have felt the cold undercurrent, too. They were seeking shelter from the approaching winter. On Sunday morning, Marcy and Derek examined the bedroom and decided that Marcy had hallucinated. Did mice even bite? Pregnancy hormones had been causing her to experience a number of unusual sensations. Mice in the kitchen had been unpleasant enough, but there was simply no evidence of mice elsewhere in the house. Just in case, they washed the floors and vacuumed. Derek set out glue traps in every room and caught one mouse in the kitchen. The rest of the traps remained untouched. That week, their daughter had trouble sleeping. She cried in the middle of the night, asked for water, asked to check the mouse traps, asked to sleep with Marcy and Derek. Exhausted, they invited her in. So the girl was in their bed, tucked between Marcy's belly and Derek's armpit, when on Wednesday morning, Marcy woke with a distinct sensation of something sharp piercing the skin of her right hand. She moved the hand rapidly and felt the weight of the mouse just before it unlatched. In the morning dusk of the room, a dark oblong shape landed on the floor and scampered into a far corner. Could it have been a rat? Marcy couldn't help the sound that came out of her mouth, the whole body bursting, quaking, fissuring. "What?" asked Derek, waking up. Their daughter, between them, stretched and smiled as she did in the mornings. Then the smile disappeared and was replaced by a look of concern and fear. Marcy had fallen quiet, but her scream echoed. A strange feeling came into her stomach, as though it were dropping, followed by a distinct rumbling. "Daddy," the girl said, turning to Derek. "Daddy?" "A bad dream," Marcy said, getting up to go to the bathroom. "I'm sorry I scared you. Go back to sleep." "Did baby have a bad dream too?" "No, sweetie, baby's fine." In the bathroom, Marcy examined her hand and found no evidence of the bite, at the very least no blood. She pressed gently on her belly, hoping for a response kick, but felt nothing. It was too early in the morning to call the doctor. Marcy sat on the edge of the tub in the brightly lit bathroom and watched the clock and tried not to focus on the dull ache spreading down her back.